Okay, so this part of Chapter 8 will be dealing with looking at installations where you need special considerations. So, first off, looking at computers that may not have a DVD drive. Let's face it, nowadays, DVD and CD drives are becoming less and less common on computers just because of the flexibility of USB drives and thumb drives and everything like that. Okay, so if you need to install Windows on a computer that does not have a DVD drive, you can download Windows from the Microsoft site. Okay, and then once you do that, you can actually burn it to an ISO and then use a free program like ISO or DVD to ISO or something like that to actually boot from that USB drive. Okay, you can also use an external DVD drive if you need to. Okay, they have tons of these that are USB that are easy to plug in and use. You can also use a use a DVD drive remotely. You can map to a DVD drive on another computer and use it shared. So that's another option as well. Okay, so this is where you could actually go in and set in your BIOS or your UEFI. You can set up where you want your computer to look first whenever it's booting. Okay, so this is something that you'll want to change strictly when you're installing the OS. So right here you can see it's set to removable, which means it could be a USB drive or a thumb drive or something like that. After you install the OS, you can change it back to where the first boot device is your hard drive. Okay, so that's one option there. Okay, plus you also have what a lot of manufacturers are doing nowadays is putting a factory recovery partition on the computer. Okay, used to, whenever you order a new laptop or a new computer, you got a set of CDs or DVDs with them, which would include the operating system, the drivers, any software that was installed. That way, if something happened and you had to reinstall, you had all the software you needed. Now they're trying to cut costs, so that's no longer the case. They give you a factory partition, which is going to contain basically just the base image of your operating system. Okay, so to get to this, you usually have to press some type of key during startup to go ahead and boot to that partition. Okay, it can also come with like a utility that you could run once your computer is running. Okay, so this would be an example of that recovery partition. Okay, so we could actually go in and do a system recovery. You could create a recovery disk if you need to. You could do a system backup. I would highly recommend doing something like this, mainly because one thing that they don't take into consideration with these recovery partitions is if your hard drive fails, then you're pretty much stuck. Okay, you can't get your OS then, and then you got to look at trying to contact your manufacturer about getting a disk or something. And a lot of times, if they will even send you one, they'll usually charge you extra for that as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, another special consideration is dealing with the virtual computer. Okay, the virtual computers are becoming more and more common in the work environment and in everyday households, just messing around with different operating systems and stuff like that. Okay, virtual computer, basically all it is software that's going to run on a computer that's going to simulate the hardware of another computer. For instance, I could be running Windows 7 on my computer here, and then let's say I wanted to test out Windows 8. I could then use virtual software like VMware Workstation or Virtual PC or something like that. And then with that, I would install Windows 8 inside of my Windows 7 machine. That Windows 8 would then think it's running on a full-fledged machine, but in reality, it's all being simulated through that virtual software. Okay, and this will allow you to install and run an OS many times over, which you will get to experience in here whenever you deal with your VMware and your different OSs. Okay, so there's several different reasons you might use a virtual machine. Okay, you can use it to run legacy software if you have to run like Windows XP or something like that. You can use it to train. You can use it as test machines. You can use it all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, where you can actually test out different software and everything. So you can also do screenshots of the boot up process in the virtual machine. You can do screenshots of anything within the virtual machine and use it as developing training material. Okay, so all that can be done within a virtual machine, which makes it a whole lot easier to do multiple operating systems rather than doing a dual boot or a multi-boot, where you have to actually power down the current operating system to get into the other one. With the virtual machine, you can actually just, you know what, I need to look at some Windows 8, power it up, get what I need, power it back down, and you're still running your Windows 7 without any issues. Okay, so a couple different types of virtualization. Hyper-V or hypervisor. Okay, this is basically software that runs and manages virtual machines on a workstation. You see this on servers, on workstation machines or client machines. Basically, it's just like it sounds. It kind of manages all the virtual machines on a computer. Okay, so a couple different virtual machine programs that are available. You got Client Hyper-V, Virtual PC by Microsoft. This was originally developed to strictly run Windows XP, so which was one of the major drawbacks. So when 7 came out, this was used for those instances where your company may be ready to upgrade to Windows 7, but you've got your purchasing software that's will not work on 7, so you have to and it's not built into the budget to get new software this year. So you still upgrade all your computers to Windows 7, but then you run Virtual PC for your purchasing department to run their software and run Windows XP. Then you also have VirtualBox by Oracle, which is free, and VMware Player by VMware, which you'll have access to given that you're computer science majors. Okay, so Client Hyper-V is built into Windows 8 Pro and Enterprise. That way you can run multiple virtual PCs or virtual machines within the computer itself. Virtual PC is also free. It's free on everything except for Windows 7. It's just a download off their website.